Hello, and welcome to Celeb Storm, the place where we break down the stories the industry prefers to ignore. If you appreciate straightforward truth, real tension, and the drama others avoid, you're exactly where you should be. Today's focus: an unexpected clash. Katt Williams versus Snoop Dogg.
Career down the road. People might not want to book you in Texas or Arizona or California.
Sir. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
It began with a warning, and not from the police or a music rival. This one came directly from Katt Williams himself. Yes, you heard that right.
Snoop is just really hilarious.
Snoop Dogg is funny,
He's doing all these things.
Katt Williams, a man who never filters his words and never shields Hollywood's feelings. And this time, he's calling out Snoop for what he believes is clear selling out. Or, as Katt described it, becoming a political dog.
He performed.
Katt didn't ease up. He delivered the line, "No, sir. Later on, people might not want to book you in Texas, Arizona, or California. Wouldn't that be something?" You could hear the burn behind every word.
Yeah. Get your life right. Stop worrying about mine. I'm cool. I'm together. Still a black man. Still 100% black.
Katt wasn't joking. He was sending a serious warning. When Katt speaks, it isn't for attention. He speaks up when he feels something in the culture is shifting the wrong way. And from his view, Snoop is stepping into risky territory, stuck between influence, politics, and loyalty.
I want to say this real quick, now on the political shit. All you people for the federal government that got not getting paid right now, ain't no fucking way in the world y'all can vote for Donald Trump when he come back up again. If y'all do vote for him, y'all some stupid
Katt has been tearing through Hollywood all year, exposing fake alliances and hidden deals. Steve Harvey, Cedric, D.L. Hughley, no one has been off limits. But when he mentioned Snoop Dogg, the room went still. Because Snoop isn't just a rapper, he represents an entire legacy.
Inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States of America, Snoop Dogg performed at the Crypto Ball. Now, Snoop Dogg, he got the backlash because people are like, wait, this isn't the same Snoop from 2016 who had so much to say about the art.
A legend who went from Death Row Records to the White House, from the streets to mainstream America. People still remember when Snoop said, "I ain't into no political shit. All you folks in the government not getting paid, that ain't right." That was the older Snoop, the one who spoke for everyday people. But Katt's message touched a sensitive spot. According to him, Snoop isn't that same dog anymore. At some point, he stopped speaking truth and started getting comfortable with those in power. This isn't the Snoop who stood beside Pac and survived death row. And Katt Williams wants everyone to see that shift. This also isn't the version people grew up admiring. This is the Snoop who spends time with Martha Stewart, appears in insurance ads, and promotes pet food on TV. And Katt Williams is asking what many have wondered. What happened to the dog who made the streets proud?
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out one of you Uncle Tom is for doing it. Which one of you?
To Katt, this newer version of Snoop, the one greeting CEOs and building ties with politicians, isn't growth, it's betrayal. He doesn't view it as rising to a higher level. To him, it's selling out. The man who once rapped about dodging danger and surviving chaos is now standing beside the same system he used to warn people about. Katt finds the shift almost unbelievable.
Snoop is just really hilarious.
Snoop Dogg is funny,
He's doing all these things.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out one of you Uncle Tom is for doing it. Which one of you?
That's what has Katt so fired up. He feels the real Snoop faded somewhere behind fame, brand deals, and circles of extreme wealth. Now, to be clear, Katt still acknowledges Snoop as a legend. He said it openly. Snoop broke barriers for an entire generation, pushed West Coast culture into the mainstream, and made success look natural.
Of course, Snoop has responded to the backlash he received for performing for a Trump event. One of the things he pointed out was that we always stick together. We're good at tearing each other apart, which is pretty constant. It's pretty consistent when somebody gets into trouble. It takes backlash from the community. It's always a communal thing. It isn't any action they took. It is the fact that we can't stay together, that we can't stick together, that it's us always attacking us. But that flies in the face of the reality of what's happening right now. It is not us who are tearing down affirmative action. It is not us who is tearing down DEI. It is not us who are tearing families apart. It is not us who have decided that affirmative action and rollbacks that have been that had precedent for 50, 60 years are gone. It is not us that is doing it. It is, I think most people are disappointed because they saw you a specific way, and you have a right to kind of interpret and do whatever artistically you want to. No one's begrudging you that. But why the attack on the community because they disagree with something you did?
But in Katt's view, something shifted. The honesty, the boldness, the voice that once represented the people, it's fading. The Snoop who used to stand against the system now seems to be smiling beside it. And in a world where authenticity gets buried and real voices are muted or bought, Katt Williams isn't staying silent. He's calling things out exactly as he sees them, directly, sharply, and without apology. And when Katt speaks, everyone listens because he says what most people won't even whisper. But where did this tension between the two icons actually start? Let's go back. In the early 2000s, Snoop Dogg was untouchable. He survived the death row chaos, avoided industry traps, reinvented himself, and built a legacy no one could question. He wasn't only a rapper, he was a cultural force, praised by Jay-Z, Ice Cube, 50 Cent, and every heavyweight in hip-hop. Snoop was the ultimate OG, the calm mentor, the wise figure everyone respected. Then, slowly, things changed. Fans began noticing a different version of Snoop, showing up at political events, mingling with powerful circles, defending certain celebrities while staying oddly quiet about others. He started supporting brands, campaigns, and causes that didn't match the man who once spoke for the streets. And that's when Katt said he saw the first warning signs, the kind of choices that make you question whether someone's still genuine or simply putting on a show for the cameras. And then Katt dropped one of his coldest lines. When they can't control you, they cancel you. And when they can't cancel you, they recruit you. And in Katt's eyes, that's exactly what happened to Snoop. The industry stopped trying to shut him down and instead brought him inside, polished, packaged, and safe. The real tension grew when Katt noticed how Snoop responded to major issues shaking hip-hop. When artists were being blacklisted, Snoop stayed silent. When people in the industry exposed the darkest secrets, he acted like the mediator. And when topics like exploitation and abuse came up, he said nothing, as if it had nothing to do with him. But the moment Hollywood hosted a gala or threw a big event, Snoop was right there in the front row, smiling for every camera. To Katt Williams, that wasn't loyalty. It was self-preservation, a man protecting his status, not his people. And that, Katt says, is what hurts most. Because if there's one thing Katt has built his entire career on, it's speaking the truth, even when it cost relationships. So, silence from someone like Snoop? To Katt, that feels like betrayal. So, when Katt said, "I'm giving Snoop his last warning, stop being a political dog," he wasn't just throwing shade. He was drawing a clear line towards someone he once respected, a final message. In Katt's world, there are only two kinds of dogs. The street dog, loyal, bold, real, unfiltered, guided by truth. And the political dog, trained, polished, controlled, shaped to keep the system comfortable. Katt believes Snoop used to be the first type, raw, genuine, unpredictable, the voice of the streets. But now he's acting like the second, a man shaped to protect the industry instead of challenge it. And honestly, it's hard to say Katt doesn't have a point.
These days, Snoop is on TV more than he is in the studio, hosting cooking shows instead of showing up for community work, selling products instead of sending messages. He's not just an artist anymore, he's a corporation. One of the biggest, yes, but the question remains, at what cost? Katt isn't against success, he isn't against evolution. He's asking something real. What kind of growth are we applauding here? Did Snoop grow as a person or just grow as a brand? Because those two things aren't the same. And coming from Katt Williams, that question hits harder. Katt never cared about Hollywood approval or fame. He never has. The industry threw everything at him. Blacklisting, arrests, smear attempts. But he never bent, never softened, never switched sides to be comfortable.
That's why people trust Katt. He has no alliances to protect, no fear of losing money, no reason to stay quiet. What worries him is what happens when real voices stop speaking. And here's where things get even deeper. Snoop and Katt aren't strangers. They didn't rise in separate lanes. They're both West Coast giants, one from rap, one from comedy. Both respected, both loved, both shaped by the same culture. In the 2000s, their energy was solid. Snoop showed Katt nothing but love. Guest spots, radio moments, backstage laughs, real camaraderie. But over time, things changed. Katt began noticing the divide. While Katt was calling out names, Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, Cedric the Entertainer, Snoop stayed silent. Not a word. And what bothered Katt even more? The same people Katt exposed were the same people Snoop stood beside in photos, smiling like nothing mattered. To Katt, that wasn't loyalty. That was betrayal dressed in designer clothes. Because if you stand for truth, you don't go quiet when your voice is needed. That's exactly where Katt Williams drew his boundary. He said clearly, you can't claim you're for the people while shaking hands with the puppeteers. And everyone knew exactly who that was directed at. Straight at Snoop. Katt didn't hint, didn't soften anything, and didn't walk around the topic. He wanted the message to land clearly. And honestly, this isn't the first time people have accused Snoop of shifting directions. Back in the chaotic death row era, he was entirely street, loyal, outspoken, and unfiltered. He stood firm, moved with Pac, and talked like someone with nothing to protect. But after Tupac's death, the atmosphere changed. Snoop pulled back from Suge Knight, created distance from death row, and built new connections. To this day, people still argue whether that move was survival or switching sides. After leaving death row, Snoop linked up with Master P at No Limit, then reinvented himself again, moving into the corporate world, then Hollywood, then full mainstream celebrity status. He's reshaped himself more times than any rapper of his generation. And while that transformation kept him alive in the industry, it also made some fans start watching him differently. They began wondering if the same man who challenged the system was now helping protect it. And here's the truth. Katt isn't trying to tear down Snoop's legacy. He isn't jealous, and he isn't bitter. He's questioning the intention behind the change. He's basically saying, you once led the culture, now you follow the machine. And that lands hard because Katt isn't talking about fame. He's talking about integrity. And in his view, Snoop stopped being the voice of the people and turned into a refined brand that follows Hollywood's expectations. So far, Snoop hasn't responded to Katt. Not directly and not publicly, at least not yet. But the internet reacted instantly, and opinions split right down the middle. One side says Katt is simply resentful, frustrated that Snoop gained mainstream approval and massive corporate backing while he didn't. They argue Snoop did what anyone trying to survive would do: evolve, remain relevant, and secure long-term success. After everything he's experienced, they say he's earned the right to stand beside whomever he chooses. But the other side is fully supporting Katt, saying he's the only one willing to say what many in the culture have whispered for years.
They argue that Snoop has been benefiting from both worlds, speaking real on one hand while collecting corporate checks on the other, talking about the streets while living as a commercial figure. And realistically, both sides aren't entirely wrong, because this isn't just about Katt versus Snoop anymore. It's a clash between two very different definitions of success. Snoop represents the survivor, someone who outlasted the chaos, stayed visible, and built a global empire. Katt represents the challenger, someone who refuses to bend, even under pressure. It's two mindsets colliding: play the game or expose the game. And right now, Katt's message is direct. He believes Snoop crossed that line long ago and is now too tied to the system to separate from it cleanly. When Katt delivered that warning, it didn't sound like casual drama. It landed like a serious signal, sharp, loud, and suggesting something bigger behind it. Fans immediately started trying to decode what he meant. Was he warning Snoop about consequences? About what happens when you trade authenticity for politics? Or was he calling out the risk of playing both sides? Because eventually, both sides turn on you. There's also a third group. The people who think Katt is simply worn down from watching legends he once respected transform into something he barely recognizes. He admired these men, only to watch them grow comfortable with the very systems they once challenged. And it bothers him deeply. As he said, the moment you stop speaking for the people stop speaking for you. And that's the exact message he's aiming at Snoop. Because no matter how successful, respected, or globally loved you become, if the streets stop connecting with you, your crown stops holding weight. That's why this warning from Katt feels deeper than a simple call-out. It's personal. It's broader than one rapper, one interview, or one disagreement. It's directed at every entertainer who climbed upward and forgot the people who supported them at the beginning. Katt's sending a message to all of them. Don't let them reshape who you are. Don't let them reduce your voice. Because once you lose your authenticity, they stop needing you. That's the heavier truth beneath all the discussions. Snoop's career shows how complicated fame becomes. He's been everything: gangster rapper, cultural symbol, entrepreneur, comedian, host, actor, brand figure. Every accomplishment is legitimate. And what he's contributed to hip-hop, the West Coast, and the culture is undeniable. But with every new, polished move he makes, that same question keeps returning. Has Snoop become too comfortable, too corporate, too political? This is the same Snoop Dogg who once said, "Forget the system." The Snoop who spoke with raw honesty and confidence. Now that same man is sitting across from the system on daytime television, smiling, joking, and shaking hands. And that's the part Katt refuses to accept. Still, no matter how intense this gets, one fact remains. No one can erase Snoop Dogg's legacy. He helped build West Coast hip-hop from the ground up, brick by brick, bar by bar. But Katt's warning feels like a turning point. A reminder that fame can elevate you, but it can also compromise your truth if you let it. Snoop Dogg's legacy runs deep. The question now is which version of Snoop will define it. He's uplifted younger artists, opened doors, created opportunities, and given back to the community in ways few others have. Snoop is one of the rare hip-hop legends who truly aged gracefully. No public scandals, no messy breakdowns, no chaotic implosions. But maybe that's part of the problem. In a culture built on rebellion and disruption, calmness can start to feel suspicious. And then there's Katt Williams. Pure energy, loud, raw, unpredictable, and unapologetically honest. So when Katt sees Snoop's polished calm, he doesn't interpret it as wisdom or growth, he sees compliance. That's why the situation feels far from over. When Katt says last warning, he means it. And if Snoop decides to respond, Katt's not holding back. He'll hit 10 times harder, dragging the industry back into the storm. This isn't just another celebrity feud. It's a clash of philosophies: truth versus tolerance, rebel versus rule follower, fighter versus figurehead.
Katt stands for the raw, unfiltered voice of the people. Snoop represents the legend who escaped the streets, leveled up, and built an empire. Both men started authentically. Both changed the culture. But only one refuses to play the Hollywood game. And in Katt's eyes, that's the defining difference. It's not about money, fame, or awards. It's about who maintains truth when the lights go out. Katt looks at Snoop and asks the question everyone online is asking. Are you still the dog from Long Beach? Or are you just another part of the machine? What happens next? Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. In this industry, silence often speaks louder than words. And if Snoop stays quiet, it might not mean peace. It could mean power is still pulling the strings behind the scenes. This is Creel, where we break down the drama behind the shine.